President Biden is scheduled to announce that all civilian federal employees must get a COVID vaccine or submit to regular testing. A similar policy announced today for state employees in New York. We're joined now by Republican Congressman Scott DesJarlais from Tennessee. Congressman, you're also a doctor, so let's start with that COVID news. It sounds like the details of this will be released tomorrow. Maybe they're still working them out. Mandates for vaccines. Are you on board with this?
Not mandates for vaccines. I think that you just got to look at the numbers, and I think you need to talk to your doctor. I feel like people have lost some faith in the CDC and certainly the political talking heads and even politicians. What I tell my patients are just look at the numbers. If you follow the science, if you're 30 and older, 99.5% of the deaths occurred in that age group. If you go to 50, 95%. So in other words, the older you get, the higher the risk. And so if you're 50 or older and you haven't been vaccinated, you're probably at pretty high risk. If you're under 30 or under 20, certainly if you don't have other conditions, you might want to look at what the side effects are. We're still learning. Guillain-Barré syndrome, other cardiomyopathies and things are coming out. So CDC is basing some studies on some unpublished documents that we haven't really seen yet. We were told to put masks back on here in the House.
Right.
We talked to the House physician. There's a lot of dissension among the ranks right here. It seems kind of punitive.
What about healthcare workers? Are you for mandates for them?
Yeah, I don't know that you should mandate anybody because I'm vaccinated. If I'm standing next to someone that's not, they're not really a threat to me. Mm-hmm. There are still personal rights, but I think that if you study the science and talk to your doctor and you have other conditions, they're probably going to recommend you get the vaccine if you're a certain age with certain conditions.
Do you think we'll lose federal workers, civilian workers, as a result of this?
I'm sure that there will be some. I've got a 14-year-old daughter that they're strongly encouraging, but kids under 17 are about a fraction of a percent of the deaths, and the side effects we're seeing in kids tend to almost be higher than the shot. So you kind of got to weigh that out as a parent. And not many kids have been vaccinated, so we're taking a little bit of a wait and see. My wife's an RN, and the jury's kind of still out on that.
Congressman, we're a startup here, and we are trying to do things a little differently. We caught what you said about us last night on CNN. For our viewers who are watching us instead of CNN, we're going to play a clip of it. We'll talk after.
Okay. I blame the media for a lot of the divisiveness in this country because it depends on which channel you watch, you're going to get a different spin. I accidentally watched a channel the other night my wife Amy put on. It was NewsNation, and I watched it for 15 minutes, and they told stories of the border and Pelosi. I couldn't tell which channel it was. I asked her, she didn't know, and I had to look up. And it's so refreshing to hear a news channel that doesn't bias the viewers one way or another, and we need more of that if we're going to move forward as a country.
Congressman, we're glad you found us. I guess the question, at first anyway, is why you blame the media for a lot of the divisions we see today.
Well, I grew up in the 70s, and we kind of made fun of the Soviets for state-run media and propaganda. And when you watch TV today, that's pretty much what you're going to get. There's a real mistrust of the media. And I think they're down around 30% if you ask people if they trust the media. And so, if you're on the right, you may watch Fox News. You kind of know what you're going to get. If you're on the left, same deal. When I was talking with Chris Cuomo last night, I could tell it's kind of an antagonistic thing. And it seems like, there's no escape anymore, whether it's sports or whether it's Hollywood or it's musicians. There's nowhere to go to escape politics. And when you expect that up here, it's Washington, it's going to be political, but the country is headed in the wrong direction. There's critical race theory, cancel culture, wokeness, this and that, and so many things that are dividing our country, racial divides.
But the problem is with the facts, Congressman. That's the thing, is that we're arguing over facts that some people see differently and don't even agree on.
Right, and people have the right to make up their own mind, but if you're going to watch most shows, they're going to spin it in a way that they're telling you what to believe, and most people want to figure that out for themselves. So when I was watching your program the other night, which I had not heard of, I'm sorry, but I just thought, wow, this is incredible. I don't know which way they're spinning, and I kind of researched you and thought, this is what we need more of. We need to let people watch, let people decide and think for themselves.
We do appreciate it, and that is the mission here. Congressman, it's great to have you. Scott DesJarlais. We'll be in touch. I know there are a lot more issues coming down the pike. You got a bridge in your state that's about to reopen soon that we've heard a lot about. Perhaps we'll talk to you about infrastructure and more down the road. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joe.